Alright, boys, I know Fluffals just got reprinted. Some of you guys are up in the Fluffal hype train because a bunch of stuff got printed recently. Dude, did you see this? This guy just spelled out ho. Wow, dude, is this even kid-friendly content anymore? Don't worry, we're not here for the E-Heroes. We're here to see a Fluffal player do a 1 versus 2, completely destroying his opponent in one turn, OTKing over 19,000 points of damage over here. But where are the Fluffal players at? Oh, well, Fluffal Mouse, you thought this card was bad. You'd be right if you drew 3 of them, but if you don't draw more than 1, it's actually pretty good. It can be really dirty to pop a bunch of cards with the Frightful Tiger. His opponent had a card, didn't even matter. He's just going to go ahead and go in. Sabretooth going to be bringing back a card out of the graveyard, so if Link Summon is a thing, don't worry about it with Fluffals. You can bring them out of the graveyard. Kraken brings them also out of the graveyard. He's going to attack like 50 times with this card. More like 3, but you guys get the idea. Over 19,000 damage right there. And I know a lot of you guys are like, yo, Azneyes, I really want to play that deck. Don't worry. I got the build from Savage Langombi over here. That is the guy who made it. So let's go ahead and jump right into the little deck profile. So if any of you guys are interested in playing this, feel free to go ahead and do so. I can make some suggestions for you Fluffal players in this video, but anyways, I really think Octopus can be a very decent card. It's one of the newer cards, really helps out with the Kraken plays, but nonetheless, I'm going to give you guys the deck profile just like the one you just saw, and we'll talk a little bit about it, and I'll give you guys some suggestions for the deck. So, first off, we got 3 copies of the Dog. The Dog lets you add an Edge Imp Sabres or a Fluffal. Then we got 3 copies of Fluffal Penguin, really good cards. You can special on 1 Fluffal monster from your hand except for itself. It only use 1, so it just basically lets you get extra monsters. And then on top of that, this effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for the fusion summon of a Frightful monster, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1. That's a really good effect. Plus it's a water, so I mean, in the off chance that you want to run totally awesome, you could maybe make some, go for the Bahamut Shark, go for the card play from there. And then we got 3 copies of Edge Imp Chain. We got 3 copies of Fluffal Bear. 2 copies of Edge Imp Sabres. Then we got 2 copies of Fluffal Owl. We got 3 copies of Fluffal Mouse. You could drop Fluffal Mouse if you wanted to completely. It's kind of one of those like random coin toss cards. I know in this replay he didn't draw multiple, so it was really good. But to be fair, like he OTK'd over 19,000 points of damage, even if he didn't use another material. More than likely in every scenario you'd be able to OTK in this deck. It's a pretty consistent OTK if you can pull off a mouse and it doesn't, like, if the fright for a monster doesn't get stopped. But next up we got 3 copies of Fluffal Wings, really good card. And then we have 2 copies of Fright for Fusion. We got the 1 Raigeki, 2 copies of Polymerization. We got 1 Frightful Reborn, 3 copies of Frightful Patchwork. Really, really insane card. You gotta add Poly and Edge Imp monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 per turn, but you only need 1 turn to OTK in this deck. We got 2 copies of Darkhold, and then Raigeki and Darkhold really helps guys against those first turn boards that are relatively strong. Usually we'll see like either like a Totem Bird, well, backed up with like a Drancia, maybe a Daigusto Armor. A lot of those first turn plays, Darkhold, Raigeki, they really help out against OTKing your opponent and making it so they can't stop you from going for your plays. Then we got 2 copies of Twin Twisters, 3 copies of Toy Vendor, 2 copies of Fusion Recycling Plant, a newer card actually. So it's once per turn, you get to discard a card and add a Poly for a deck or graveyard to your hand. Really good with the Fluffal Mouse, because I felt like a lot of people don't really play this card, but there are a few cards that can work really well in this deck if you happen to draw multiple, because you can only special summon them from your deck. If you could special summon them in your hand, then this would be like really good, but unfortunately you cannot. Oh, I also mentioned Burstinatrix. Let me go over that before I forget. So, this is why I said the Elemental Lady Heat, not even good. Burstinatrix, she's got bigger personalities. I mean, they're just popping out here. Alright, now that we got that out of the way. We got the 2 copies of Terraforming to search off your Fusion Recycling Plant. I really don't understand the point of this. I mean, if you're playing under 40 cards, or 40 or under, I understand Terraforming, but I feel like you could have just dropped these. I know it adds 2 extra copies of it, but I felt like you could have just played 1 more copy of Fusion Recycling Plant if you really wanted that consistency with it. But that's the only real suggestion that I can give you guys, to keep it as original as possible. Obviously, if you guys want to make suggestions, I would love to hear them down below in the comment section below. But we still got to go over the extra deck. So we got, of course, the Frightful Sabretooth, the new card that just came out, Frightful Kraken. It didn't even need to see any play, but it's a really good card. It's once per turn you can target a monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, and it can't attack your opponent directly during the same turn you activate this effect, but it can make a second attack during each battle phase. And at the end of the battle phase, if this card battle, you can change this card to a defense position. Really, really decent card, especially when you're bringing it back with another Fluffal card. And keep in mind, guys, when you're bringing monsters back, that would have to be link summoned. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about this link stuff, it's a pretty big deal. I'll link a video to explain everything, but if you get them from the graveyard, it does not have to have a link to the monster. Then we got the Frightful Wolf. This one just keep on attacking a bunch of times. And then we got the Tiger to pop a bunch of stuff. And then we got the Sheep kind of to stall, so if it attacks or is attacked, your opponent can't activate any card effects until the end of the damage step. And if it's short of a battle, you gotta just keep on bringing it back, and then it gets a bonus of 800. And then we got the whole Utopia lineup. We got the Heartland Draco, because sometimes you're short of OTKing your opponent, and then the next turn you're able to try to finish them off with the Heartland Draco by attacking directly. And then also the bonus effect, while you control face-up spell cards, this card cannot be targeted for attacks. It's pretty much irrelevant, but figure in the one random circumstance that you need it, it's there, man. And then we got the Castel the Musketeer, and then we got the Phantom Knights of Break Sword, really expensive card. I dropped this card, and there we go, guys. This is a budget deck ready, unless this card is a secret rare, but you really don't. It's not like a super important card for the Fluffal archetype, but I think it's a fun little deck, relatively inexpensive, and when Link Monster comes out, I feel like a lot of you guys, if you're not interested in it, maybe you guys can check out Fluffals, because it's a pretty cheap deck. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and thanks to Mr. Savage for sending in the awesome replay. 1 versus 2 OTK'd Fluffals over 19,000 damage. Really cool stuff. But thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed the vid, make sure you guys get a like button, a titty slap, and hit that subscribe button for more Fluffal videos.